What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are actually going to talk about Social Security and potentially how millions and millions of Americans are not going to be getting the increase that they need. The increase, the cost of living adjustment, the money coming out for additional taxes, all this stuff is going to cause millions of Americans to struggle in 2024. And some worry that the increases are not enough. Now, if you think I'm shooting this video out in the dark for dramatic effect, that is incorrect. It is 5:18 in the morning, and so it's still dark out. The reason why I'm doing a video of 5:18, first off, traveling this weekend, as you probably see. But the other reason why I'm doing a video is because I got a lot of people that were questioning, why are lawmakers accepting this 3.2% cost of living adjustment? Why are they doing nothing about it? Well, the reason why lawmakers can't do much about it is because right now they don't have a Speaker of the House, but they have other issues that they have to address first. Not that they're prioritizing these and they believe that the things that they're doing now are going to make a huge difference over the next 6 months to maybe 6 years, but it is stuff that's going on in the news. So one of the things I want to address are these additional Social Security increases. The first one that we need to address is the cost of living adjustment. We're also going to talk about taxes, because these are the two big issues that are going on right now that the American people are facing. One thing I can tell you is that millions of Social Security recipients are worried that their benefits are not going to be enough to live off of in 2024. And lawmakers know this. And in recent reports, lawmakers have stated that they're looking into this. The only problem is when they look into this, there's not enough support behind increasing benefits or reducing other expenses. And we talked about this before, and I told you that the Biden administration and President Biden, personally believe that the benefits that they have been able to provide, the decreases in expenses for like medication and stuff like that, that was what the Biden administration believed was pretty much their $200 per month boost that they gave Social Security recipients. However, that's far from what they promised. Biden administration promised, or specifically President Biden promised, $200 per month as an increase in benefits, not a decrease to expenses. So right now, lawmakers are trying to find ways to not only either increase benefits, which I think they're going to have a very difficult time doing, but potentially decrease expenses, which means possibly decreasing expenses for things like insurance even more. The only problem is Medicare is going up even more in 2024. In 2023, we saw Medicare come down about 3%. This year, it's actually going up. So unfortunately, some of your benefits are going to go to that. So sorry for that, but that is the truth. Now, we did get a new report just recently. And in this new report, they conducted surveys, and 68% of people say that their household expenses are at least 10% higher in 2023 than they were in 2022. That's a problem because people also received an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023. And that still wasn't enough. All right. And think about this, because we just learned that the cost of living adjustment for 2024 is going to be 3.2%. That's decent. That's not the lowest it's been. The problem is we just came off an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for this year, and now we're going to go to a 3.2% cost of living adjustment. That's much lower than what it could have been. Well, the big issue is just this past month, from August to September, we saw inflation stayed steady at 3.7%. However, it was a little hotter than expected. Now, what I can tell you is we are already seeing that the cost of living adjustment is at 3.2% for 2024. Currently, inflation is 3.7%. If it continues, then we are already behind by a little bit. So that's kind of an issue there. One thing I can tell you, though, when it comes to this kind of oh, instead of getting, 3.7%, we're only getting 3.2. Well, you're down about 1%. Okay, you're down about 0.5%. So it's a little bit of a problem. In this report, it also says that 56% of Americans say that they worry that, or not Americans, Social Security recipients worry that the newly announced 3.2% cost of living adjustment for 2024 will not be enough to pay for expenses in the coming months, not just in the next year, in the coming months. All right. They say 60% of people say they are worried that the SSA will have no other option than to move forward with benefit cuts as a result to Congress's inaction. So that's an issue there. Is Congress going to be able to do anything, or are they pretty much just sitting with their hands tied behind their back? Well, according to the recent reports from Reuters, even the Washington Post and Bloomberg, right now they're just trying to figure out who the next Speaker of the House is going to be. And at this time, we just don't know. Now, here's a crazy statistic for you as well. It says 16% of Social Security recipients say that after the 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023, they will now be required to pay taxes for the first time in years. So 16% of people that Social Security recipients are now saying they're going to have to pay taxes for the first time in years simply because their benefits rose by too much. Now, I think this is interesting, and this is a crazy statistic simply because lawmakers have been discussing this for many months. It says lawmakers know this is coming. However, experts say that they would be surprised if Congress was able to do anything for this group of people at this time. And I want to touch on that because that's something that we've heard before. Many people have said that they don't believe that Congress is going to do anything for those that are having to pay taxes now. One of the reasons why they need to pay taxes is simply because that puts more money back into the trust fund. That puts more money back into the IRS, back into the US government. So now they can decide how that money gets appropriated. Well, that's a problem because if the money is going back to the United States government, guess who doesn't have it? The American people. Guess who needs it? The American people. Not saying the US government can't use a little bit more money because obviously they're blowing through a lot of it, but who do we trust more with our money? Ourselves or the US government? Yeah, answer that question. Now, here's the problem with all this. Are we going to see some new legislation that's going to come out and cut Social Security or cut the tax requirement if you make over $25,000 as an individual? Do you have to pay taxes on that? Well, are we going to see new legislation? Probably not. Are we going to see legislation to increase benefits? Probably not. Not in the next month. Are we going to see any new legislation to potentially decrease expenses? I know the discussions are being had, but are we going to see something happen over the next month? Well, I don't know. But what I can tell you is what will happen. Congress is fighting with one another, specifically in the House of Representatives, to choose who the next Speaker of the House is going to be. Is it going to be Steve Scalise? No. It was supposed to. That's exactly who the GOP picked as the next Speaker of the House. However, he didn't get enough votes, and just about 24 hours after he was chosen to be the next Speaker, he withdrew simply because he was not going to get enough votes, and he knew that was going to happen. Now, the GOP has chosen Representative Jim Jordan. This is going to be an interesting pick if it does get approved. Right now, he doesn't have enough votes, but it doesn't mean he won't be able to get there. He probably will have to create some type of concession to ensure that more people vote for him. But what I can tell you is we're going to see Republicans go through multiple picks. I don't know if Jim Jordan's going to be the one that gets chosen or not. He is the chosen one now. But again, give us about 24 hours and we'll see what happens there. Because the fighting is going to continue. This is the big issue. We need somebody as the Speaker of the House, not just Speaker pro tempore Patrick McHenry. Can he fill in and do a decent job? Possibly. Are Republicans going to allow them to do that? I don't think they will. So we need a new speaker. Once we have a speaker, then we can do things like pass the next government funding bill, because again, that has to happen before November 17th. So really, we're on a deadline. Today is Saturday, October 14th. So my guess is we're going to have some movement over the next month. Whether the movement is positive or negative, we're going to find out together. So that's what we know at this time. Again, there's a lot of stuff happening. As we get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button. Also click that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one.